G'day legends, it's Trav here, host of the Cold Exposure Hot Topics podcast. Look, I wanted to address the story I posted earlier and go into a little bit more detail because, to be honest, I am absolutely horrified at what I heard. And after an initial chat with a good brother of mine, I then reached out to a couple of others as well and have heard some very, very troubling things. Online coaching. Now, I myself personally, I love the industry. There are so many good coaches out there that I've worked with directly or indirectly, collaboratively, and it is a really good space, and it is an accessible way to help people. And a lot of the time, not always, but a lot of the time, the people who are setting up these programs have the right intentions. Unfortunately, that brings me to my point today. I've been told and heard multiple accounts now of a retreat that was held by a particular organisation, or coaching program, whatever you want to call it, in February. Now, I don't know the details of the full retreat. I only know the details of one specific event and then some behaviour that went on throughout the rest of the retreat. The event we need to talk about is very concerning. And this specific retreat was a men's only retreat. This program is one that I've actually been in, albeit it was about 3 years ago or 4 years ago, I think now. However, I got out when I noticed some changes happening, and I'm really glad I did after hearing this. This program is targeted at men. It's targeted at vulnerable men who want to become an alpha male, work on themselves in a way that's surrounded and supported by community. That's the type of person that this program targets. And again, I will say there are programs out there that do have these type of people as their target market that do really well for these guys. This program, however, unfortunately, has gone down the path of some very toxic manipulation and healing processes with their members. On this retreat, on one of the first nights that they were there, they were not told about this, but the guests walked in to a naked circle. They were told that they had to remove their clothes and stand in that circle. The crux of this exercise was to release sexual shame. Now, at this point in time, it is very important to point out that the people organising this event have no qualifications, and I know that the term qualifications is very speculative at this day and age, but no qualifications in trauma management whatsoever. They're not psychologists, they're not professionals, they are people who have started an online business based on materials that they have read. Now here's the trigger warning where I go into some personal details. I experienced on multiple occasions throughout my trauma having to be physically naked, standing in front of a mirror, while not this guy who organised the course, I want to be super clear about that, but the person who was preying on me evaluated my performance, evaluated my mental state, my physical health, my emotional well-being, all of that kind of thing. This was something that was a part of his elaborate grooming process that led to sexual assault of me both as a minor and as an adult. Now, if I had been on this program, and I'm so glad I wasn't, that would have released an uncontrollable amount of trauma, triggers, you name it, it would have been catastrophic. These men who organise this event do not know the in-depth stories of everyone that goes on these retreats. People have been through stuff like I have. They wouldn't have had a clue, and they're putting these people in this situation. And alternatively, if these people don't want to be, participating in the naked circle, they are then susceptible to the bullying, the belittlement of the men around them. And the argument there could be, sure, the type of men that go on this retreat might not be the type to bully other people. You don't know that. You do not know that. All you have done is done a brief screening process and taken money from people and put them in this situation. You are messing with people's lives. I cannot be more serious about this. You are messing with people's lives. When you're putting people in these vulnerable situations, and then, as I said before, I was told of some of the continuing behaviour throughout the retreat where the facilitator would actively try and trigger people as much as he possibly could from a mental and an emotional perspective. You are just bringing up unresolved wounds that you have no capacity to heal for other people. You're only spending 2, 3, 4 at most days with them, and then you are sending them back to their families, their wives, their kids, their parents, whoever it is. You have not helped them process any of this very real, ugly internal stuff that we all have. You are putting their lives at risk, and you are putting their families' lives at risk, and it is disgusting behaviour that needs to stop. Some coaching programs are like this. Some coaching programs are run by one person or a group of people who have these ideas of grandeur about what a man should look like. And they prey on vulnerable people who are easily manipulated, and they're very good at it. They'll trick you into thinking that you need to be worthy of their program so that you can invest stupid amounts of money into hearing their indoctrination strategies. It is an absolute farce and a disgrace, and it is just filling the pockets of these people who don't even understand their own trauma, their own limitations. Again, I need to stress that the vast majority of programs out there are well-intentioned. I've worked with a number of coaches and mentors directly, indirectly, collaboratively, and in many, many ways, and I have received a lot of benefits. However, this program in particular, while I wasn't directly affected, I now am aware of people that directly were, and I just really need to drive home the point that if you are someone who wants to get online coaching or mentoring, please do, but please, even more importantly than that, make sure you look into these programs properly and go through the screening and honestly analyze what these people are like and what they're actually saying to you. But just because they're charging you a lot of money to hear what they have to say, it doesn't mean it's what you need to hear. Please keep that in mind, legends. Anyway, I'll leave it there. I'll see you for the ice baths soon. Have a great long weekend and stay safe out there.